My name is Dr. Christopher Imumole, and I'll be taking you on project management 2. I believe this class is a 200 level class. You would have done your project management 1. I don't know. If not, then I can commence with this. The first, I believe many of you can see as I'm sharing my what's it called, my screens for you to see the material that is being used in this training. Project management, we have to start by definition of the project management itself. What is project management? It's very, very important we define what project management is, and why do we need this course? What and why do we need to understand why are we taking this course? So these are some of the very few things we have to look at. Who is a project manager and why do you need to become a project manager? Who want to work with a project manager? That is another question that we will be looking at and we'll be answering as we we commence with the course. So welcome to the project management class. And student of JPTS, you should know that the online program which we have set out is one that would make you stand at edge of every student in Nigeria, because this is a very what's it called, great feat that we together have achieved to ensure that our students, even while at home, have the ability to study online. This ordinarily is achieved in abroad or other countries, and for us in JPTS, we are fast thinking and we believe students should not just be at home idle, they should also learn. In this way, you will not be staying too long in a semester. We still ensure that our semester is still 3 to 4 months. Students can still take their exam even while at home. It's not going to affect your academic work. So therefore, every student that might be complaining about this, we understand there might be issues with the online and with the stay-home money and the rest of, but this is a sacrifice that is worth taking. So we encourage all students to take their pen, take your biro, and write. Because at the end of this class, I'll be giving assignments which would require you guys to be part of, to take this and submit the assignment to the lecturer. So let's start from the introduction. Definition of project. We should know that project, we'll be looking at definition of project itself, and while we'll be looking at definition of project, we should be while we look at definition of project, we will be looking at some other terminologies as it is very important to this to the course. So there is a body called PMI. PMI is Project Management Institute, is the international institute that provides scope and guideline for project management training. And the word PMP itself, PMP means Project Management Professional. So once you're certified by PMI, then you can be called a professional in project management. So you are a project management professional. For PMP credentials recognizes demonstrated knowledge and skills in leading and directing project team and in delivering project results within the constraint of schedule, budget, and resources. We'll be talking about that shortly. This is just going to introduce us to the class. Project Management Framework. Chapter 1, Project Management 1, Introduction. Chapter 2, Project Life Cycle. Chapter and Organization wide. Chapter 3, Project Management Process for a project. Please, Mr. Yomi, kindly notify me once Engineer Badi is active to continue his class. Remember, I'm only staying in for him. So let's start from introduction. PMB book, PMB book guide, PMB book. The word PMB book means Project Management Book of Knowledge. This is the Project Management Book of Knowledge. So whenever you hear the word PMB book, please note that means Project Management Book of Knowledge. So it comes with various editions, and it is a guide written by PMI. PMI is Project Management Institute. Is a standard. Let's look at this carefully, and then we get to understand more and better why and what we are doing. PMB book guide is a standard. It's a standard formal document that describes established norms, method, process, and practice. Norms. When you talk about norms, we believe you understand what norms means. Norms are we also look at beliefs. We can use the word beliefs. Beliefs. The standard, a document that describes established believed norms. Method. Method is the way with which the modus operandi process is stage by stage, and what's it called, marks that is used in achieving a particular aim. Practice is a way of doing things. So this is a standard guide that is used to describe norms, method, process, and practice. So let's look at guideline. The second is guideline for managing individual projects. Remember, we have not really given you detailed definition for project management. We are only looking at it from the periscopic view now. So guideline for managing individual projects, the PMB book gives you that. And number three, a good practice which are applicable to most projects, a good practices which are applicable to most projects most of the time. So this is a gives you a good practice which is applicable to most projects. A good practice that is, you have so many practices in project management, but we have acceptable, we have good, we have non-acceptable practice. So this gives you an idea, open knowledge to good practices which is applicable to most projects most of the time. These good practices are what is obtainable and used by international organizations. So if you want to work as a project management manager, you need to understand the good practices that are useful, accepted, and adopted by organizations. See, it gives you common vocabulary within project management professional. Every profession, has its terms and terminology. So the bulk guide, the bulk PM bulk guide gives you the professional terminologies that should be used as a professional in project management. So as a project manager, you must talk like a project manager. So if you're an accountant, you know the words cost accounting, credit, and loss, and the rest. Those. So in project management, we also have the terminologies that are used. So it helps you to understand that, to enable you to talk professionally as a project manager. Then it's also a foundational project management reference. It gives you references to how project methodologies and where those references were taken from. So we quickly will be looking at advantage of using formal project management. The advantage of using formal project management, better control of finance. Remember, project management, by the time we go through this class, you would have been able to understand how to manage costs in a project, how to manage resources, time, how to manage quality, how to manage the rest. So this guideline helps you to better control finances. So if I'm going to be asking you a question, tell me or explain to me the advantage of using formal project management. You should be able to tell me one, that it gives control of finances. So you do not over budget, you don't under budget. It tells you accurately how much is needed to finalize a project. Physical and human resources. How many human beings do you need? How many people, how many professionals do you need to finalize this project? Improve customer relations. It helps you. There's something called project management that is related to customer relations. It helps you to improve because for every project, there's customer relations. Remember, when we talk about customer relations, we talk about both internal and external customers. We have customers that are external. These are people who the projects are meant for. While internal customers are those you work with together to achieve the expectation of the stakeholder. We're talking about that. I don't want to use strong terms now. I want to move gradually as we understand it. Improve customer relations, shorten developmental time, lower costs. Yes, the perfect project management tool helps you to lower costs because that is one of the achievements your project tool must help you to. If you have a project, a formal project management tool, and you are spending so much, then the project management tool is of no essence. So one of the advantages helps you to lower cost, but does not lower quality. Sometimes many people query to say that when you lower cost, it affects quality. But in this case, it helps you to spend what is necessary to achieve the quality that is desired. So higher quality and increased reliability. Yes, increased reliability, higher quality is very, very key in project management. Reliability means that stakeholder meeting, having satisfaction to the product. So if your project is to produce a bottle that is used to a container that is used as a bottle for Coke, if that is your project to produce. So what are the expectations of your customer? If your customer need a stronger bottle, a ductile bottle, if your customer need a bottle that is durable, a bottle that can withstand temperature, then once you're able to achieve that quality, then it gives increased reliability. Then it means that people can rely on the product, they can use it for the functions of which the product was produced for. Then higher profit margin. Yes, project management tools should also help you to manage profit and enhance higher profit margin, improve productivity, better internal coordination. Yes, a good project management also helps to link and correlate how human resources works together, how their work linked together, chain of command, who do they report to, who gives instruction, who even during shift, how do they relate? No, it gives better internal coordination and there's lesser propensity for conflict. Higher worker morale, yes, good project management help to reduce stress, about stress management, and when you reduce stress, you encourage staff, you create better working environment. It helps to give higher working morale. So let's look at what is project. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Look at the word temporary. Whenever you want to define a project, the word temporary must not be omitted. So temporary, once a project is a time-based activity. So a project is a time-based activity, and then once that is done, it it helps you to achieve what you it helps you to achieve what is needed. Mr. Yomi, can you hear me? Mr.
Sir,
Yomi, can you hear me? Eh?
I can.
Can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Yes,
Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you, sir.
Are you sure the student can hear me?
Yes, 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 I can.
Because
Yes,
someone
I hear you.
someone just complained that he cannot hear me. So let me, Raji Mohammed, can you, Raji Mohammed, you're a student, can you unmute? Raji Mohammed, can you unmute your mic so that let me hear you? Raji Mohammed, Raji Mohammed, please unmute your mic so you can speak to me. Prince Will, Prince Will, Obi-Wan, can you also unmute your mic, Prince Will? Prince Will, unmute your mic so you can speak to me. Robert Abisoye, Robert, Prince Will, unmute your mic. When I say unmute your mic, I mean click on the red mic icon, click on it once, and it will turn to green. This can only be done for those I have, I've been able to have. So once you do that, I want to believe that all the students can hear. So let me continue with the class. Temporary is key in the definition of project. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique project, service, or product. Temporary endeavor. Then we talk about repetitive element, may be present but has fundamental uniqueness. It's unique. Once you've achieved your aim as a project, once you're able to develop what that which you have the project is meant for, the project time is ended. Is a progressive. When we talk about progressive elaborate, so your it means distinctive characteristics of each unique project. We'll talk about progressive elaborate. This my assignment number one is I want the class to explain in not less than 100 words what the word progressive elaborate means as it relates to project management. Number one assignment I will give to the class is explain in not less than 100 words, not it shouldn't be one page, and you must not write exactly what is written here. You must not copy and paste. Please just write what you understand by the word progressive elaborate in not less than 100 words. Please ensure you write your name, your center, phone number, and you send same to my address. You send it to my email address. I will give you my email address to forward to before the end of this class. Mr. Yomi, please, once my time is up, please notify me because I don't have access to seeing my time. So, project attribution. A project has a unique purpose. It's temporary. A project is developed using progressive elaboration, require resources, often from various areas, should have a primary customer or sponsor. The project sponsor usually provide the direction and funding for the project. We'll talk about project sponsor. These are the owners of the project. So, for example, you want to build a house, the project sponsor is you, the owner of the house, and the project manager, the contractor, whoever, is the one who set out the project. So, the project sponsor usually provide the direction, funding for the project. Involve uncertainty. Yes, that is why later on in this class, we will be also training you how you can use Microsoft Project 2 to plan your project to reduce uncertainty of the project. Because sometimes you see people, like for example, have you seen those that construct road? They might not plan for rain and it rains, so they also have planned for such. Mr. Yomi, do you want to say something? So let's look at the difference between projects and operational work. There's a difference between operations and projects. Please let me know how many minutes I have left. Remember, every class is just for 40 minutes. No, once my 40 minutes is over, I need to know. So, project versus operations. So, a project, let's look at it. A project is to attain its objectives and terminate. A project is temporary. Once it achieves its objective, it terminates, means end. Operation to sustain business. Operation is a daily activities, day-to-day activities for business sustenance. So it does not halt. It's what we do from 8 to 4, depending on the time of resumption and time of close of work. So it's an operation. So number two, create own character, organization, and go. Project create its own character, its own organization, and go. You will see even in an organization, you have a project team members that are focused on a particular project. For even for schools, sometimes you want to organize entire sports, you create a committee for that project, even in the school. So you can pick a teacher, some teachers to be part of the committee for the entire sport project. So once the entire board is over, the committee is dissolved. So it creates its own character organization and go. Semi-permanent charter organization. So when it's about semi-permanent, it's almost permanent. For example, you have the administrative staff for operations. So they are almost permanent positions that are headed by different persons to ensure that the aim of the operation is achieved. And project catalyst for change. Yes, one of the major reasons why projects are bettered is because there is a need for change in the organization. So unique projects are they are organized so that the company can experience change while the project is is accomplished. So, but for operations, it maintains status quo. If we are to make sure that we attend to customers, these are the ways SOP for standard operating procedure. There are standards for everything, and it must maintain the standard. Number four here is unique product or service. Yes, it's targeted at producing uniqueness, while operation has a standard. I did mention that project heterogeneous team. We talk about heterogeneous team. The project can bring people from different departments. So when there's a project, for example, we have COVID-19 pandemic all over the world, and We have teams that are set up to manage this. You see people from Ministry of Transport is picked, people from Ministry of Health is picked, people from the religious setting is picked, and they all form the team to manage that because they are so these are heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means that heterogeneous is a different quality, people from different background coming together to form a team. But homogeneous, similar characteristics, similar orientation coming together because if we have administrative departments, they all need to have an administrative idea. We have people in the health department, those in the logistics department, to make sure that the operations of the work is done. So you can see that project is for heterogeneous team, while operation is for homogeneous team. Then project has a time, start and end time. We said it's temporary. It must end when the project is ended or start at it. While operations is ongoing. I'm going to give you an example. Example of a project producing a newspaper, writing and publishing a book, implementing a land, hiring a salesman, arrange for a conference, opening a new shop, producing annual report. These are examples of projects. Why examples of operations are responding to customer requests, writing a letter to a prospect, hooking up a printing to a computer, meeting with an employee, attending a conference, opening the shop, writing a progress update for members. These are examples of projects. Mr. Yomi, can you see my screen? Am I sharing the screen? Hello? Hello?
Uh, I can see it. Professional.
Okay. Okay, good. So please, I want Tayo Olatunji. Tayo Olatunji. Can you unmute? Tayo Olatunji. Temitope Emmanuel. Can you unmute your mic? I want to get contribution from any of the students. Like I did yesterday, some students contributed during the class. Maybe I want one or two students to contribute. Just try to see if you can unmute your mic. If you can unmute your mic, so if you can talk to me, just unmute your mic. Let me hear you talk to me while I continue here. So quickly, what is project management? Remember, we have been able to discuss what what a project is. Now I want to discuss what project management means. This is 1:12, so I have 8 minutes to the end of today's class. So remember our first assignment. This assignment must be submitted to my email at irenuba@yahoo.com. Irenuba is spelled Irenuba. Irenuba@yahoo.com. So my first assignment I've given. So what is project management? Project management is not the same as project. Remember, project is defined. We've defined that. So let's look at project management. Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, techniques. Is the application of what? Skills, knowledge, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. Project management is the application of knowledge. What is the knowledge? PMBOK. Remember, we talk about PMBOK. PMBOK means project management body of knowledge. Skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. Wisdom to meet project requirements. Project management is accomplished through the application and integration of So project management is the application of this knowledge, is the application of knowledge, is the application of skills and tools required to meet project requirements. Project management is accomplished through the application and integration of processes which are grouped into 5 groups. I want the class to read on project initiation, project planning, project execution, project monitoring and control, and project closing. So, and I want you guys to write briefly for me what you have been able to do on project initiation, project planning, project execution, project monitoring and control, and closing. Project initiation, project planning, project executing, monitoring and control, and closing. These are the five assignments plus the initial one I'm doing. So 6. The initial one is to write not less than 10 on what um let me quickly check for you so that write not less than 100 word what you understand by progressive elaborate without using what is on the screen. Then secondly, read and study and write for me what you understand by project initiation, project planning, project executing, project monitoring and control, and project closing. This is the 6th assignment. Please submit this assignment to irenuba@yahoo.com. Irenuba is spelled IRENUBA @yahoo.com. Submit this before the end of next class section. So please, I will encourage that. For those who can hear me, fine. I'm also going to be uploading this material online, so you guys can also have access to it. So you go to this course, you can download the material from your. So I'm going to be uploading this material for all students, so you can read through it. But without which you also can research on material so as to be able to answer some of the questions I've asked. We have just 4 minutes to conclude this section. I want to take a question from a student or a comment from any of the students. I believe most of you are still trying to understudy how this platform work. But I believe hello class. So okay, quickly, I'll be taking you guys on the course project management, and while we start, I want you guys to know that I'm Dr. Chris, so I'll be standing in for your lecturer who is not available. So just listen. Project management starts with introduction. PMBOK is called Project Management Body of Knowledge. PMBOK. So we should know PMBOK is Project Management Body of Knowledge, and it is developed by PMI. PMI is Project Management Institute. PMBOK is a guide that creates a standard. It's a standard document that describes an established norms. Norms can also be described as beliefs, method, processes, and practices. Guideline for managing project management. Gives you a guideline for managing individual projects, Good practice which are applicable to most projects. Remember, projects is a time-based activities. So we would be looking at advantages of using formal project management. These advantages include better control of finances, physical and human resources, better control of financial, physical and human resources. So project management helps you to give you better control of financial spending. So it helps to plan that. Improve customer relations. Remember, we have two types of customer. We have the internal and external customer. Internal customer is your fellow colleagues, staff, those you work together to achieve same project. While the external customer are the owners of the project, those you want to serve the project with. Project, formal project might also help you to shorten developmental time, lower cost. Yes, it helps you to avoid unnecessary spending, higher quality and improve reliability. It gives higher quality, improve reliability. Reliability is only achieved when customer, owners of project, or those who the project is meant for achieve satisfaction on use of that project. Higher profit margin. It helps to eliminate losses and gives higher profit margin. Improve productivity, better internal coordination. Better project management tool helps to define functionality and line of command, chain of command, who to report to, and how working relationship are being formed. Higher work morale is another advantage of. So if I'm going to ask you guys to tell me advantages of using formal project management, you should know that it gives this function. I'm sharing my computer, so you guys should see this material. So what is project? A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Remember, temporary. You cannot define the word project without using the word temporary. Repetitive elements may be present but adds functional uniqueness. Projects are unique and is progressively elaborate. So my assignment number one is to ask you guys to explain to me in detailed words, not less than 100 words, what you understand by the word progressive elaborate. Please do not use the content which is here. Try to research of your own and write for me not less than 100 words what you understand by progressive elaborate. So I'm going to continue the class. So let's keep looking. So my first assignment has been given. I believe you guys have your notes and your biro to write. The purpose of the online training is to ensure that students at edge while you're at home, you're still studying, and your semester is not unnecessarily lengthy. So you guys, even if government says that we are going to stay home for 6 months, be sure that you are still progressing academically, unlike your other colleagues in other school who might be waiting for resumption to progress. So they're going to start from where they stopped. But for our students in JPTS, they are moving while the break is still on. So I think it's a very laudable one. So let all of us take the pain to learn and take our assignment. Remember, attendance is 35%, and we need to take this serious. So a project, let's continue. A project has a unique purpose, is temporary, is developed using progressive elaboration, require resources, often from various areas, should have a primary customer or sponsor. A project must have a sponsor. Example of a project is building a house. The sponsor is the builder, the owner of the property, and also involve uncertainty. As we move along in this course, we'll be teaching Microsoft Project 2. This is to teach you how to use software to plan your project. It helps you. So let's look at the difference or the comparison between projects and operation. They are different. Project, remember, is short, is temporal. Operation is to sustain business and it's repetitive. So project to attain its objective and terminate. So once a project achieves its objective, it's terminate. Like for those who work in schools, like teachers, maybe you have entire sport. So it's a project. So you have a committee that is set up to manage the entire sport. Once the committee it's it's over, then the entire sport it's over. Sorry, the committee is dissolved. So a project achieves its objective and terminates. Number two, project creates own character, organization, and goal. It creates its own character. Its organization within an organization, you can have a committee within whose role is different from or might just be invariant with the role or the objective of the company. But the end project, the purpose of that project is to achieve a result that would help the company at large. Catalyst for change project. Catalyst for change. Yes, every project is meant to improve the company's what. So unique product or service. Yes, sometimes projects can be as a result of research to produce unique product or service that will enhance company's good. Heterogeneous team. For example, we have COVID-19, and if you look at the committees that form COVID-19, both from the federal or state unit, but people from the transport, members from religious, members from health, come up together to form a unit. So they are a heterogeneous team, meaning that they are from different background. Homogeneous is same background. So if you look at operations, a homogeneous team, they are from the same. So if you have your administrative department, there are people who must be good in administrative work and they are of common sense. So it's homogeneous for operations, while project is heterogeneous. A project have a start time and end time, while operation is ongoing. So operation is to sustain business, semi-permanent charter, so people in transportation units must be there for a very long time. Maintain status quo. So maintain status quo, that is for operation. Standard product, meaning that for every operation, there's something called SOP, standard operation procedure, SOP. So every operation must follow a particular pattern, and that is what the company has advised. So let's look at example of projects. Producing a newspaper is an example of projects. Example of operation is responding to customer requests, which is a repetitive work. So quickly, we are going to look at what project management means. Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. Application of knowledge, where do we get knowledge from? Remember your PM book, which is project management body of knowledge. Skills, tools, techniques to what? Project activities to meet requirements. Then we are going to be looking at project management is achieved, is accomplished through the application of an integration of the processes which are grouped in 5 process group. We have the initiation, we have planning, we have execution, we have monitoring and control, then we have closing. My second assignment is for you to write me what you understand by project initiation, project planning, project execution, project monitoring and control, then project closing. So we have 6 question assignments. The first is to write not less than 100 words, what you understand by progressive elaborate as it relates to project management. Then second is to write for me your understanding based on research that you must have conducted. What is project initiation? What is project planning? What is project executing? What is project monitoring and control? Then project closing. I think this will bring us to the end of the class. We are sorry for the short um, inches we had when the class started, but we believe our subsequent class will be better. This is year 2. I want to give you guys this information. Note that your morning classes that you're supposed to have from 9 to 12 is not going to hold this week. It's going to be holding next week, and next week it's going to be afternoon class. Meaning that afternoon class, you're going to only be having afternoon class, meaning classes from 12 to 4. So next week you'll be having your morning class for this week in the afternoon. So you're not going to be having afternoon class next week. So we're going to be shifting it because the platform is filled up and we have to ration the classes. Again, submit your assignment to irenuba@yahoo.com. Irenuba is spelled IRENUBA@yahoo.com. Again, Irenuba is IRENUBA@yahoo.com. Please submit this before the next class. Thank you again, and God bless. Okay, before I wrap up, let me ask one of you, Richard Mary. Richard Mary, I want you to unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, Richard Mary. Robert Abisoye, unmute your mic. When I say unmute, just click on the red mic. It will turn to green. So if you have any, okay, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Robert, how are you?
Yes, sir. Fine, sir.
Which center? Which center are you?
Abarajin Center, sir.
So let me quickly ask, what did you understand by the word project?
The word project. Project
Yes.
is a group of activities that have a beginning and an ending.
Okay, that is okay. So thank you. I will be ending the class. You have your next class to join. Take care and God bless you all.